Well, hello. Good evening. I guess it's pretty dark outside. Been a while since I've done a video, and I wanted to welcome you to my kitchen for this one. What I am going to do is discuss some of the various lighting methods that I have when I'm out camping, and this is in regard to uh, any season: spring, summer, fall, winter. It doesn't matter. It could be outside, it could be inside. And what I mean is general ambient lighting, not targeted lighting like flashlights or spotlights, headlamps, things like that. I think everyone has their own preference for those. And obviously, everyone has preference for ambient lighting as well, be it battery powered or some sort of combustible fuel. These are just some of the ones that I like, and they vary. I use both kinds, three different kinds of fuel, as it were, whether it's battery power or it's again a combustible fuel. And I'll go over the ones that I like the most, or at least the ones I've been favoring most recently, as well as some of the other ones that are kind of new and not yet applied in the real world often enough for me to really have an opinion formed yet. But as it were, I'd like to start off with my favorite one right off the bat. Can you guess what that is? Probably not. Although maybe, I don't know. But it's in this pouch, and this does require a consumable that you would have to purchase separately. Now, I got this from actually Goodwill. It was amazing that it was on their site. This is a Stonebridge folding lantern. I know that I've talked about this in the past, but this is it in its folded up form. It is brass. I believe they came in an aluminum as well. This is from the turn of the last century, so right around 1900-ish, give or take 5 or 10 years. It was also used upwards of World War I, and I think maybe even manufactured a little beyond World War I. The patent dates on this go up to 1906, but I do know that it was manufactured and used even later than that. And Garrett Wade actually makes a reproduction of this that you can buy from their site as well. This is an original one though, and you can see it's pretty slick. It's not that heavy. I'd say it's probably just a hair over a pound. This is a fold-up lantern, and if you could probably tell, it's a candle lantern. So the way that it folds up, you got this clip here, and just pull that up and lift the top of it up, unfold it again, and now you got a square, and then you just push the bottom down, just like that. And then you fold the top over like this. You gotta get that top out. So that unfolds, bring it down. And then there's a little slot here that the tab that locks it closed actually slips in and locks there. It's got a mica globe, if you will. They're just thin mica sheets. This one is cracked, but it still functions. I haven't had to replace it yet. And the two side ones are actually in perfect shape. And the back of it is actually polished so that you can, so that it reflects the light out. Surprisingly, this thing does really, really well for what it is. It's a single candle, and it lights very, very well. Now, it requires, I think the Garrett Wade one is a different measurement. I think that one uses either slightly larger or slightly smaller. I'm going to say slightly larger than this one takes. This one has a 3/4 inch diameter on the clip at the bottom of the lantern. So down there, it requires three quarters of an inch candle to fit in there. And surprisingly enough, I got some from IKEA, and I think it was $100 for like $7 or $8. It was a really good price, because if you go on Amazon, these are really expensive. Like unnecessarily expensive. And even then, I bought 3/4 inch candles off of Amazon before I found them at IKEA, and they sent me 1/2 inch ones. So buyer beware. I recommend getting them from IKEA. They're really, really cheap. Now, the other problem is they're really long. So if I take this and I stick this in there, you notice that it doesn't actually want to fit. And that's because it is, I don't know if you can see, but it's tapered at the bottom, so that it fits inside your candle holder. But the thing is that even if it's in there, even if it could fit, it's too tall. The flame would be burning right against the top of the lantern. So what I do is, I actually still have these candle ends in here. I chop off about 2 inches from the bottom, and that's a little too short. I think I actually need to chop off a little bit more, maybe like 2.5 inches. But then the remainder, it's the perfect diameter to fit right in the clips at the bottom. They fit perfectly, and it burns really, really well. And hopefully, or maybe, I will do a lighting test on this later on, or light it up for you as an example. Now, I do keep the candle ends that I chop off, and what I'll do is in my winter stove, my tent stove, I'll chop off a little bit around the top to expose more of the wick. I'll light that. I'll toss it in the stove, and it works as a great fire starter. And I just have them in here as a byproduct of lighting this lantern. So again, one of if not my favorite lantern is the Stonebridge folding lantern. I absolutely love this thing, and it's small and cute. I dig this. So that's the Stonebridge folding lantern, specifically the Stonebridge automatic folding lantern. Love that thing. Next is one of my favorites, and this is a Dietz. I don't even know if this, okay, so this is not the Dietz Junior. This is a Dietz number 50. Now, this is an authentic antique. You can actually buy these nowadays, and they are made in China, or just not the US. This is an original US made one. It's got to be about maybe 70 years old. I have one that's made in China. I like it. The globe broke. I really didn't feel like spending the money just yet to replace it. So my father had this one, and he gave it to me. So he never used it. As a matter of fact, I've never seen him use this. And it's just a regular oil lamp. So you turn this knob here, and it raises and lowers the wick. I don't know if you can see, but the wick is only like 3/8 of an inch thick in there. So it's a really small lamp. It's much smaller than the one that I had before. The way that this works, there's this lever here that you can see. You just push down on that, and it locks into place, and it gives you perfect entry in the side to light. The problem with these is that they spill. Man, do they leak. Holy crap. So you cannot drop this on its side. The lantern wick holder and the raising and lowering mechanism just slots into a couple of raised tabs here. Raised slots, there's tabs on the actual wick holder that twist into place, but it's not watertight, airtight, fuel tight, whatever. So if you spill this, or if you knock this over, fuel will spill out, and it will continue to spill out because of capillary action, and it just becomes a bit of a mess. So you have to be really careful when you transport these. Transport them empty, and only fill when you're going to light it, because otherwise it's just too much of a risk. I mean, yeah, you're probably not going to knock it over, but hey, you never know. You might hit something that's not even close to this, and there's a chain reaction, and this thing falls over, and now you got fuel all over all your clothes or whatever, right? So just leave it empty until you need to light it. So hurricane lanterns, and it doesn't matter the size. This one is tiny. I love this thing. It's cute, and it's got the original glass on it too. Really excited to use that. So those two are my favorite, and probably because they are just, I don't know, really, they're an open flame. There's something to be said about that. And speaking of, that comes to my next method of lighting, which is the Coleman Lumiere. Now, I did do a video on this earlier, so I'm not going to go over it all that much. But it's basically a single flame lantern that screws onto your regular fuel canisters, butane, propane fuel canisters. And so it just screws onto the end, and that is basically it. So once you're done cooking, toss this thing on. It's got a single flame, which is adjustable with this knob here, and you are good to go. So I really enjoy this. Now, obviously, again, as fuels go, You have your candles for this. You have your lamp oil / kerosene. I'm using lamp oil. This uses that butane propane mix. And the second last one is this little guy and ones like it. So this is an Olight locked. Or is it dead? No, it's not. This is an adjustable LED lantern. It gets very bright. And hopefully I'll be able to show you guys. I'll turn the lights off in here and you can see how bright these actually get. This thing is only like 4 inches tall. It is a little heavy, but it feels reliable. And I know weight doesn't dictate reliability, but in my head it does. But it is quite bright. The only thing I don't like about this is it's not like a perfect shine downwards. If it's anywhere near eye level, it will glare in your eyes, and it's really bright. So I don't like to hang this above my head. I don't know why, but I feel like it's better served on a table when I'm sitting or anything like that. But I almost like it lower than me than above me because I feel like the light that I get from it is just, I don't know. I'm not really, this is probably my least favorite. Just want to put that out there. I like it. I do take it with me usually as either a backup or just like a secondary further away option, so I'm not seeing that light. The other thing about this is that the light includes the blue spectrum, which I don't know how much of an impact it has, but I know it certainly does have an impact with how well you can go to sleep at night when you're using this as your primary light source in your tent. So you don't really want to, I would say you don't really want to use this as your only light source or the main light source before you go to sleep, because it does still contain blue light that's not filtered out. And I can't help but feel it just keeps you awake. Again, probably my least favorite option and probably my least favorite method of lighting. Yeah, I know it's electricity is the fuel. You just charge it and you're good to go. But when the battery dies, I can't replace it, so I got to toss the whole thing. And they're not necessarily cheaper than any of these. Yeah, they are more convenient, but I don't know. There's something about a flame. Which brings me to my last option, and this one I actually got recently. Now I do have others like it, but this one, it's a Coleman lantern. But look at this cute little guy. Look how small this is. I mean, the lamp oil bottle is taller and just as wide almost. This is a 222. They also came in other model numbers. There's a 222A, there's a 222B, there's a 226. They're all very, very similar. They're small, little backpacking, basically, Coleman lanterns. They're single mantle. So they're kind of like the 200s, with the circular globe, but about half the size, maybe even smaller than half the size. They're not the brightest in comparison to your other Coleman lanterns that are mantle lit, but again, for it being so small and just being a durable, constant, very reliable lantern. I absolutely love these things. So without further ado, I'm going to turn off the lights and I'm going to light these up for you, and we'll see how it goes. And of course, my cat jumps up here and wants to take a seat. No. All right. So in celebration of this, I know you can't see, but you will after I light all these up. Or maybe you can. I'm using very old vintage Strike Anywhere diamond matches. Are these Strike Anywhere? The other ones certainly are. These are, which means I should be able to do this. Come on. I can smell it. I haven't done this in forever. Yeah, whatever. Oh, I should probably pump this up first. It has a little bit of pumped up fuel in there, but not a ton. Wow, these are old. These matches are probably 60 years old, if not more. So who knows if they're actually going to light. Well, how quaint doing this. Too bad they don't sell these anymore. And then you just turn the knob. And there we go. Oh, shoot. So they're a little finicky sometimes. They don't have the cleaning rod or the cleaning tip like your lather. Come on. Of course, now I'm a liar. So the problem with this lantern is that they haven't made it in a long time. So they don't sell the generators made specifically for this. The ones that they do sell are for the 226, and those have a much larger hole where the fuel comes out, and so they burn more. This one is the smaller sized hole on the jet tip on the end of the generator, and so it'll burn longer without requiring pumping. So you can see how bright this thing is. This is pretty good. Does a good job. I'm not going to keep it lit because I am indoors. I'm not going to keep it lit too long, at least. But that's how that one goes. As a matter of fact, I am going to turn this off just so you can see how each one individually works. Of course, got to wait for it to peter out. But that's it. So I turned it off right now. Again, just by turning that knob. There's a black knob over here. And that's really all you got to do is turn it. Now, the other ones, you had the wheel, the regular Coleman lanterns, you got the wheel that you have to turn. And then there's that lever that you have to turn around. And that is the cleaning tip. So it cleans out the tip of the generator. There's a needle on the inside that moves up and down. But that also allows you to kind of dictate the intensity of the flame by, dictating how much fuel comes out. Okay, so that one's out. This is the little Olight lantern. So, yeah, you can see how bright this thing gets. It does do a lot. But like over here, I get a bright light as if like the sun is in my peripheral vision. And I don't know, I'm just not really a fan, gotta say. So that's that. Now next, again, I know we've all seen, but this is the Lumiere. I'm going to use my lighter to do this, but at least I think I can use my lighter to do this. Maybe, maybe not. Oh, yeah, over here. Whoa. There we go. Whoa. Yeah, that's how you can adjust it. So again, this is almost like writing desk style lighting, right? It's not too high. So it's nice light. It is lighting up most of this table here. I could certainly eat by it. I can certainly read by it, but I'd have to be right up at the light. But it's like just enough. It's perfect. It's great ambiance, great color. It does generate some warmth, not much. It's certainly not going to kill you by, burning this inside of your tent or something, or a cabin or something like that. It burns clean. And, it's just a really nice ambiance that it gives off. Definitely a fan. I love this thing. You can only get it from Japan though. Although you can buy it on eBay, but it will come from Japan. Over here, now we have our hurricane lantern. So what you do, once again, is you raise the globe by pushing down that lever, and you can just light it like that. lighter or match, doesn't really matter. And there it is. So even this thing, it's again about the same as the Lumiere, but the nice thing about this is that I can hang it. And this does not have the same intensity as that Olight LED lantern. This thing, it's just a nice yellow flame, gives off great light. You know, I can crank the flame. Now I will burn through oil, no pun intended. But you know, even if I lower it down to here, it still gives off good light. It's a great night light, you know, when you're going to sleep and or getting ready for bed, and you want to just, you know, make the ambiance a bit more relaxing. Lowering this down to where it's like just lit, you know, something maybe like that temperature or that flame size, perfect. It casts just enough light, make you feel ready to go to sleep. Like you just lay your head down and you're good to go. This thing, I don't have a candle that's set to go, but you can basically imagine that it's almost exactly like the Lumiere. The Lumiere, obviously, you can adjust the fuel canister one. That you can obviously adjust the flame. You can't do that on a candle, but it's about a 1-inch high flame. So, you know, if you set that Lumiere to be a 1-inch high flame, that's what the candle, you know what, screw it. Now we gotta cut this. Good thing I have a knife right here. And now I have a fire starter. So drop that there. And again, I cut the end off. So now that'll fit nice and tight in there. And light that wick and close that top. And there we go. Now, if I put that out, now you can see how much light this thing casts, which is, again, a fair amount, surprisingly. Now, that is burning quite high, and it's above the flame, so it'll get a little bit smaller. But this is generally the amount of light it puts out. And the funny thing is, the flame isn't even really touching or hitting the aluminum or the polished steel back to reflect it out. So this will actually, in fact, get brighter. And it's on all three sides. You know, of course, the back doesn't have any, but this thing is great. I use this all the time in conjunction with one other option. I'm always going to have this. It's so small, and at the very least, it's an emergency light. It works fantastically. I love it. So there we are. I got the Lumiere, or the Stonebridge, the Dietz Hurricane Lantern, the Lumiere, oh, and you can use a Bic on this Coleman, the Olight, and of course the big one, the Coleman. Come on, no, you can do it. You can do it. God, if it wasn't so finicky. It's like if you light it once, you gotta keep, you gotta pump it. If you put it out, you gotta pump it again, because like it uses all of its functional pressure as it's turning off, and you gotta pump it again. But luckily, you know, you don't have to pump it that many times when you're actually running it. Really, like I'd be surprised if you had to pump it more than more than twice in one night. And there it is. All right, everyone. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed. Hope if if you decide to go with one of these, they work as well for you as they do for me. Really appreciate it. Take care. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that stuff. I kind of feel obligated to say it, but if not, whatever.